When it comes to Hallmark creators from OG YouTube, that regardless of what niches you frequented, you knew the face of, you knew what their content was, and sort of set the pace as a trailblazer for a whole genre of YouTubers that would come after them, being so influential with sway and agency, it's really hard not to mention Boogie2988. And I just wanted to give my thoughts a little bit on the recent documentary that has released about him. And this might come as a little bit of a surprise because I don't typically talk about just general YouTube drama or YouTubers, but the reason I feel so inclined to do this is Boogie2988 was one of the most important creators to my childhood when I was growing up. Because I've said before, I was a World of Warcraft fan. I loved Blizzard, I loved World of Warcraft, and Boogie2988 made a shit ton of WoW videos back in the day. Everyone knows Francis, like Francis with his Mountain Dew. Like, everyone knew his characters, everyone knew his content, his style, he was so funny, and his reputation, outside of his demeanor and cynicism of Francis, was being one of the nicer people on the platform. People saw him and revered him as this sort of beacon of happiness and positivity and being yourself. He was so unapologetically geeky and nerdy and dorky and didn't really care what anyone thought about him, or at least that's what he put out to the world. And throughout the years, he has progressively had this downward spiral into not necessarily obscurity, but relevancy for all of the wrong reasons. He started to run his mouth about a ton of issues that got him into a lot of hot water, and he started to really showcase that not only did he have a massive victim complex, but he was also using his mental health, his past abuse, as a weapon to justify his shitty actions against not only himself, but others. There was a period of time where he was being very, like, honored, and people were really, like, happy for him because he was going on this weight loss journey. And he was putting out this story about how he was, separating from his wife, or things were changing, and he did not provide much context as to why his life was so drastically changing. And then financially, he started to struggle tremendously. He started to talk about how he needed money, how people should donate to him, and he slowly but surely developed this very passive-aggressive and entitled outlook on not only the platform of YouTube, but his audience. And then, combined with all of these takes, he started to not necessarily get canceled, but his reputation, his pristine reputation, started to get called into question. And then recently there has been a documentary released on YouTube, a documentary that everyone has been watching, and it's around an hour long. I highly suggest that if you are interested at all in seeing one of the darkest, most fucked up stories you will ever see in your life, go watch the Boogie2988 documentary. I will link it down in the description box below if you want to check it out for yourselves. But this man is fucked up. And I don't think anyone was really surprised by that, because he's, like I said, he's progressively played this victim role, and he's never tried to use his platform or his mental health or the shit he's went through as a cause to make positivity or to help others, or use his experiences to fuel some sort of happiness or joy for other people like he once did. And it makes me wonder if that was just a camouflage until he finally got a fucking ego and all of it went to his head. I was watching like the Penguin Zero video and like the Moist Critical video, and the fact he called him a live version, like a live action version of BoJack Horseman, is like the most true comparison I've ever heard in my fucking life. It's insane. He is so burnt out in so many ways, and the fact that throughout this video he backpedals and backtracks so much that he doesn't show any genuine remorse for the things that he did, the way that he treats women, the way he treated sex workers, the way he treated his wife, the way he treated his fan base, the entitled comments he made, because every single time you think he's building to some sort of acknowledgement, or I guess like some sort of development or acknowledgement of the type of person that he sort of backtracks and he puts an asterisk on it and makes it like, but this is why, or it's because of this, or look at my physical health conditions, look at all of my complications of my weight, look at my complications of my platform, everyone is so mean to me. He is so fascinated and just horny over the idea of being this pariah, when in reality, to be a pariah, you have to have some sort of like martyrdom. And he doesn't. No one is feeling bad for him. No one is feeling remorse for him, because every time that he says what he did and why he did it, he always provides some sort of shitty justification instead of just acknowledging why he did it and trying to move forward. He is still sitting in this pit of, oh, I am struggling so bad with money, feel so bad about my physical health, I'm gonna die any day. And his morbid, cynical outlook on both himself and the world and life, it's no wonder that people started to not care about him, to not give him money, to not donate to him, to not feel any sort of sympathy for him, because he doesn't feel any sympathy for himself. Or in the alternative, he feels far too much sympathy and empathy for his own case without doing any sort of self-introspection. If you're going to therapy, if you're taking medication, if you're trying to change your life, you have to start with actually giving a shit about the things that you're doing that hurt yourself and hurt other people. And the fact that his wife had to go through that for years, and he was portraying a whole different story, it's insanity to me, because he portrayed it like it was her fault, or that it was something that she was doing, when he was literally spending hundreds upon thousands of dollars on these sex workers, taking them on vacations to fucking Disney World. And I mean, one of the creepiest scenes in that entire documentary is this fucking, like, morbidly obese man. And I'm not saying that, like, as a diss to him. I'm just saying in terms of adding to the fucking creepiness. This morbidly obese man sitting in a bathtub that is far too small for him, with a bunch of rubber duckies on his like side, and saying that one of his best memories is when there was this woman that he was with that was very girlish and like acted like a little girl, basically age regressed, and how he like brought her into the bathtub and was like washing her body and playing with rubber duckies. Like, it's so fucking creepy. And he literally just wears it like a badge of honor, going so far as to say that like he has some of those ducks that he had because she liked rubber duckies, and so he bought a bunch of them and kept them in his bathroom. Like, he is so weird. And his entitlement and his misogyny to women, and the fact that he feels he is deserving of their time, of their bodies, sexually, romantically, attention-wise, it is so off-putting. And he really does think that he is justified in all of the things that he feels. And he sits and wonders why he fell off so much and why no one gives a shit about him. Like, just straight up. Because when you have such a relationship with your fan base, and when you portray yourself as this good person and this holier-than-thou person, and then you take such a drastic 180 over time, and then this documentary proves that every single thing that people have said about him is absolutely true. And he has fought it incessantly on Twitch, on YouTube. He's acted like he is this like victim that is you're supposed to feel sympathy and empathy for. But he literally proves all of the points that people have been saying about him for years now. He wears it like a badge of honor, like an insignia, like an emblem on his chest that he is supposed to be proud of. And he wants so bad to just lurk in this feeling of apathy and anger and sadness. And he fucking deserves it. Like, no offense, because there's no excuse for your abuse or what you went through to dictate you so heavily that you use that to hurt other people in the process or destroy yourself in the process. You have to go on that road of recovery and healing, and he had all of the tools to be able to improve his life. He had money, he had fame, he had a fan base, he had a wife that loved him and put up with him in spite of all of his bullshit, great reputation, dozens of some of the nicest creators in the entire gaming community backing him up, being there for him. He had therapy, he had so many things that could have given him recovery and healing, and life sometimes just fucking sucks. It just does. But that doesn't mean shut down and become this wallowing, self-pitying, self-loathing blob that just falls prey to all of these negative vices, all while blaming everyone else in the world. He is so hell-bent and so gung-ho on blaming everyone else for his own issues. And it's so sad, because I have always loved Boogie2988 as a creator, and throughout the years he's just fallen more and more. And after seeing this documentary, which fantastic work. Bravo on the work on this documentary. The fact that this is just available, it shows how far we've come on YouTube to be able to just release shit like this. I can't even overstate how bad this documentary is in terms of, like, just it keeps getting worse and worse, and every time you just are sitting there with your mouth dropped to the floor, he comes up with a new sentence that is just so fucked and manipulative and weird, and it just, I don't know. But anyways, guys, what is your opinions on the Boogie2988 documentary and the situation with him? Let me know down in the comment section below. I can't wait to hear it. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is. My name is Jay Morris, and I'm signing off saying farewell.